Hi there and welcome to another prediction video. Today we are looking at who will win at the finals of World's Strongest Man 2023. Now that we know how the group stages have panned out, we can take a look at the events in the final, who the final events will suit and who will come out on top. Spoiler warning, if you don't want to know any of the results from this year's World's Strongest Man, please click away now. Without further ado, let's get into the video and take a look at who made it through into the final at this year's competition. Making his way to the World's Strongest Man finals by winning Group 1, we have the current Europe's Strongest Man, Ukraine's Pavlo Kordiaka. Joining him as his fellow countryman, winning Group 2, we have the 2020 World's Strongest Man, Alexei Novikov. Taking top spot in Group 3 is last year's rookie sensation, Canada's Mitchell Hooper. Rookie going through from this year's show, winning Group 4, South Africa's Jaco Schoonwinkel. Rounding off the winners, out of Group 5 we have the USA's Trey Mitchell. In the stone-off for Group 1 we had Tom Stoltman taking the win against Bobby Thompson. In Group 2, Luke Stoltman took the win against Gavin Bilton. In Group 3, we have another rookie at this year's final, with Matt Ragg taking the win against Ivers Schmockstellets. In Group 4, the four-time World's Strongest Man champion, Brian Shaw, overcame Rauno Hanley in the stone-off. And Group 5, hoping to put his bad luck to rest, Evan Singleton has made his first final, beating Aethor Ingles from Melstead in the stone-off. Event 1 in the finals will be the Fingles Fingers. Now the favourite on this event for me would have to be Alexei Novikov. Last time we saw him do it in 2021, in the group stages of World's Strongest Man, he was very fast on this implement. Brian Shaw will have a lot of experience going into this event, probably more so than anyone else at the competition this year. I expect to see Pavlo Kordiaka do very well at this. Good pressing power and very fast between implements. As we saw in the group stages, Jaco Schoonwinkel is a very quick athlete and expect him to do well at anything that involves moving between the implements. Unfortunately, I don't see this being such a great event for Luke Stoltman, and I see Matt Ragg placing anywhere between 1st and 10th. Unfortunately, I just don't have enough information on him. Do you think this may be one of the weaker events for Trey Mitchell? And Evan Singleton falls into the same category. Mitchell Hooper I expect to see somewhere in the middle, as he can be very fast, but he will be very inexperienced on this event. Event 2 will be the knack deadlift for reps. Very good event for Mitchell Hooper at this year's show, as well as Trey Mitchell and Brian Shaw falling into the same category. Tom Stoltman should also do pretty well in this. Unfortunately, it is a bit of an Achilles heel for Pavlo Kordiaka and Luke Stoltman, so I don't expect to see those two do the best. But taking the win in this event, I would go with the 2020 World's Strongest Man, Alexei Novikov. If he can get the win in the Fingles Finger, that does mean he will be going out last on the deadlift, and he will know exactly how many reps he needs to get to take the win in this event. It seems that Alexei's getting smarter as the years go by, and I think going out last on an event such as this gives him the chance to beat the big deadlifters in Trey Mitchell and Mitchell Hooper. Event 3 will be the Shield Carry for Distance. At the Giants live shows, Tom Stoltman is the current world record holder in this event. so I expect to see him take as many points as possible here. Alexei Novikov and Pavlo Kordiaka should do very well at this kind of event, as again, fast foot speed will be able to pick up a lot of points. Coming behind Tom, however, I have Mitchell Hooper. Shown at previous competitions that he's very good at moving with weights, whether that be frame, yoke or a front carry. His training has looked very good, so I expect to see him do very well. Again, Jaakko Schoonwinkel in the group stages, very quick on the implements in the loading race. I think that should cross over quite well here. Don't see it being the best event for Trey Mitchell again. However, I believe this would suit him better than, say, a sandbag carry would. Everyone else I see somewhere in the middle. Maybe Evan Singleton doing quite well, as we know he's quite an explosive athlete. Probably has better fitness than most. Event 4 will be the Max Monster Dumbbell. This is the one a lot of people have been talking about before the competition started. Everyone's hope was that Mateusz would make it through to the final, and we'd have a big battle between him and Alexei Novikov for the top spot. However, without Mateusz, I do believe there will be no one to challenge Alexei to push him too far. But I do see him taking the win and potentially even, if necessary, breaking the world record. We've got a couple of great pressers here in Trey Mitchell and Luke Stoltman. However, I think they would have both preferred a max log rather than a max dumbbell. I see Tom Stoltman dropping quite a few points in this one, as people like Evan Singleton will be able to get above him. The same goes for Mitchell Hooper getting above Tom. I've seen his training videos, he's looking very competent at the dumbbell. Not to the level of Novikov or Mateusz, but him and Kordiaka should have a good battle up near the top of the table. But taking second place for me, you can't look past the experience of Brian Shaw. Extremely good on this event, and I don't see why this year would be any different. Event 5 will be the vehicle pull, and I'm led to believe that this year will be, once again, a bus. So looking back at last year's results, as last year was a bus, how can you possibly look anything past Alexei Novikov for another event win? Taking the win last year, don't see why this year would be any different. Brian Shaw, once again, has a lot of experience in this kind of event. Mitchell Hooper's training has been looking quite well for this event. However, I expect Tom Stoltman to come pretty close behind Novikov, with perhaps Jaakko Schoonwinkel doing very well. As we've said before, good foot pace when it comes to the loading event and the coding circle in the group stages. So I believe he, Kordiaka and Tom Stoltman will be fighting out for second place behind Novikov. Evan Singleton could be the surprise package here, doing fairly well. However, I see him, Trey Mitchell, coming just behind the rest of the pack at the top. And the final event of the World's Strongest Man 2023, as always, will be the Atlas Stones. Now for me, the results on this can come down to what position you're in going into the event. Knowing that you have a chance of making it onto the podium or potentially winning the show, it is going to push you to do better than it would if you're at the bottom of the table with no chance of going up any positions. Therefore, I do see Tom Stoltman taking the win on this event. You can't really argue much against him, as he has proven time and time again to potentially be the best stone lifter on the planet. Just behind him, I've got Trey Mitchell, again, extremely good stone lifter, potentially on a par with Tom, so I do expect to see those two be at the top. battling it out potentially to see who could get onto the podium. Behind them, the rest of the pack could even out a little bit more. However, I do believe Matt Bragg to be an extremely good stone lifter. So him, Evan Singleton and Brian Shaw could be the next ones along the pack. Do think Luke Stoltman will be out of the race by this point, so I don't think he will push quite as hard. The same potentially with Jaco Schoonwinkel. Mitch Hooper, not quite as experienced, but is getting better at stones every time he does them. However, I still think he'll be slightly behind the pace when it comes to the rest of the pack in this event. But that will be every event done. So let's take a look at how I believe the final will conclude. So in my opinion, this is potentially the hardest World's Strongest Man to predict in the past few years. We've got 10 athletes here in the final that all have the potential to make it to the podium. However, with the events at this year's show, I have narrowed down my top 3, and here's how it stands. In third place, I've gone with the 4-time World's Strongest Man, appearing at his last World's Strongest Man, Brian Shaw. Do see very good points for him in the monster dumbbell and the Fingal's finger. However, where I see him losing the most points will be the shield carry. I think that's what will stop him from taking a spot any higher up the leaderboard. On to second place, and I have the current defending World's Strongest Man, Tom Stoltman. Tom could show quite a good bit of consistency at this show, potentially taking the win in the shield carry, and more than likely taking the win in the Atlas Stones. However, I do think his Achilles heel at this show will be the monster dumbbell. I see him dropping too many points on that one particular event to take the top spot, as I believe the person in top spot will be more consistent through the entire show. And that top spot, for me, goes to the 2020 World's Strongest Man, looking for his second title, Ukraine's Alexei Novikov. As I've said so many times in this video, I believe Alexei could win multiple events. In the shield carry, I expect him to do well, but potentially not win, but come somewhere near the top, and then be mid-pack on the Atlas Stones. But the Fingal's finger, deadlift and vehicle pull, he has the potential to win all 3 of those events. And the max dumbbell, I expect him to come top, and as I said, potentially even break a world record. So there we have it, there's my top 3 for this year. We have Brian Shaw, Tom Stoltman and Alexei Novikov. So that is all of my predictions done for this year's show. Please feel free to go down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. Do you agree or disagree with any of my predictions? Who do you think will win on each event? And ultimately, who do you think will be the World's Strongest Man 2023? If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to give it a like. Consider subscribing to the channel for more strength content coming soon. But for now, take care and peace.